Hello and welcome to my current research in special education module 1 reflection video. All about module 1 is we're getting started on some research and current issues in special education. As you know, there are so many issues that special education and special education teachers, students, parents are all facing right now and have been in the past and will probably continue to face in the future. For number 1, what did you learn about current issues in special education? I learned that there are a huge range of issues that special education, the teachers, the students, the parents, everybody is facing right now. Especially right now during COVID-19, there's huge issues that not only students but teachers are also facing. Just the issue of trying to figure out a way to reach these students with disabilities and teach them and educate them and give them the services and the assistance and the interventions that they need to be successful in the classroom on a virtual platform. There are also other SPED issues, like there's a shortage of qualified special education teachers. There's issues of the least restrictive environment for students. There's just so many out there. I could sit here all day and name them to you. So that's the big thing that I took away, and what I learned from this module is the wide range of issues that we are currently facing right now. As a third-year special education teacher, I wasn't aware of all of the ones that are out there just because I'm still new, I'm still learning, and I'm still researching myself to figure out how I can help and improve these issues in my school and in my classroom. Number 2, what topic did you select to write your proposal on? I chose the issue of COVID-19 pandemic, the school closures, and virtual learning for students with disabilities. There is so much research out there right now, and news articles and reports and observations and personal stories out there about the COVID-19 pandemic, the shutdown, how it's affecting students with disabilities, how it's affecting their families, how it's affecting the teachers, and how it's affecting their learning. So I really wanted to dive into that research, if there's a way that we can reach these students on a virtual platform so that we can be prepared in the future if anything like this happens again, not if it's just a pandemic, but if anything happens, natural disaster, and we have to shut down these schools, so we're prepared and we have a model, a learning platform, and a way to reach these students with disabilities in a way that's beneficial to them, that's not too stressful, and that they feel comfortable, especially coming to someone that they are comfortable with. Number 3, why did you select this topic? I just kind of touched on that. This is an issue that we are all facing right now as educators, parents, students, as students with disabilities. This is something that we can, research, find a solution, find a platform, find something that's beneficial for these students if anything like this happens in the future. I just our school board just voted to stay virtual for the rest of the school year. So this is really important to me because I want to find a platform and a way to reach my students virtually, since I'm not able to see them in the classroom like I would like to. So just kind of finding a way to better me as an educator and my platform for giving my interventions and my class assignments and things like that. 4, what have you learned about research process so far? It's a long process, number 1. Number 2, there's so many resources out there. It's really hard to narrow it down and find the ones that best fit your research problem or your research question. There's just so much time that can go into reading all these different resources that it's really tedious, and finding the ones that are going to best fit your research is super important. I learned that the annotated bibliography helps a tremendous amount. That way you don't have to go in and reread your articles. If you have those annotations, you know which article you need to look at, where you need to look, and what you're going to find. Organization is key. Keeping everything organized, knowing where your resources are, what you're taking from each resource, and keeping them in an organized manner is super important. Also, finding and defining a research problem is super hard. I kind of knew in my head what I wanted to research and what my problem was, but actually writing that down and figuring out a way to make it beneficial to my research was tedious and very difficult. Number 5, how can you apply what you have learned in this module to your current practices? I'm going to take the things that I learned from the articles I read and the resources in the module. It's going to help me provide resources to my students and my teacher and my students and my parents to help them become successful during this COVID-19 shutdown. It's going to help me connect better with my students, reading some information that's helped in other classrooms and how it's benefited their students. I think I can put it into practice in my classroom. It can help me with my virtual teaching. I know there's some things that other teachers have done that have been successful in their classroom, in their virtual classrooms. So I'm going to try and put in practice in my classroom. And just having the research out there and the resources to read and help whenever I have an issue in my classroom or with a student. Just having those resources there to where I can read and figure out the best solution is going to be super helpful. Not only now during the pandemic, but also when I get back in the classroom, being able to use those resources to help me solve problems is going to help tremendously. So current research in SPED is a huge deal right now. I'm looking forward to my research and figuring out a better platform to help reach these students with disabilities both academically and emotionally during the shutdown while they're stuck at home. So thank you.